Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video from the Geek Gossip channel. I'm Jack Higgins.
And I'm Artie Higgins, and this is a podcast where we talk about movies, comics, and all things geek. We are on the first ever live stream.
Yeah, we're super pumped to be here. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And we got a lot we want to get into today. So you kind of want to talk about what we're going to go over in this live stream?
Yeah, so kicking it off, we're going to be talking about Deadpool 3, the set photos for that. We're also going to be talking about some of the awesome casting announcements for Superman Legacy. And also, we're going to do a sort of trailer breakdown for the new Ahsoka series.
Yeah, there's a lot we're going to dive into today. We got Marvel news, Star Wars news, and DC news. And this is like my three favorite franchises and fictional universes all in one. So I'm super pumped about this. And this is our first ever live stream. Like, how cool is this? How exciting is that? Like, I can't even describe how excited I am to be live streaming to everybody on YouTube, Facebook, and even the Twitters. So this is going to be great.
Yeah.
But before we get into some of our news, do you want to sort of talk about a big Geek Gossip announcement?
Oh, yeah. All right. So, it's the summer and it's kind of convention season, and we've got some pretty cool stuff coming up. We've got two events. So let's show the first one, the newest.
So we will actually be appearing at a Jetpack Comics and Games signing. That's Jetpack Comics, 37 Main Street, Rochester, New Hampshire. They're actually having a big Ninja Turtles event, so you can go and meet creators of TMNT.
All of whom we've interviewed before in the podcast. So
Eric Talbot,
check that out.
He was one of the original Mirage creators. He's a really awesome, really talented artist. His style is super unique and super awesome, and it's changed and evolved, and he's really grown as a storyteller over the years. So you definitely want to go, want to meet him.
We interviewed him back at the Jetpack Comics Free Comic Book Day event this year. Great interview.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, he's definitely an extremely talented artist, and super great guy. He's got a lot of cool prints as well.
Steve Levine,
he is probably like one of like the funniest guests we've ever had on here. He's just a total showman. He's like the funniest guy ever. And like, I haven't even talked about how great his art is yet.
He's the comedian of the Ninja Turtles creators.
Right. He is the bassist for Michelangelo himself.
Yeah.
He just has such a great cartoony style. Then there's, of course, our good friend, Rich Woodall. He's
5-time guest of the podcast.
I'm actually wearing one of his t-shirts right now. He's probably been on the channel more than any pro comic creator, I think, he's just one of like the biggest reoccurring guests. He's got so many awesome indie characters
and so many Jetpack exclusive covers.
Right.
Too.
Like Ninja Turtles Street Fighter. He just did a cover for that. Like how cool is that?
Awesome wraparound. This is just half of it. There's a whole other side with Ryu and Ken and the rest of the Turtles. Awesome.
I would have loved to see Rich do a full Street Fighter comic. Like I really like how he drew Chun-Li here. He's just a great artist.
Yeah.
Then there's Jim Lawson,
creator of the Rat King.
Yeah, another one of our favorite recurring guests. He's an original Mirage creator. He has like a style unlike anything else. He's just super talented, super awesome, super unique artist. Great writer too. Like he's had a lot of awesome original ideas in like his recent self-published books. So you'll definitely want to meet him and get some turtle stuff signed. So and you'll also, if you haven't already, you'll definitely want to meet us.
Yeah, check out this right here.
Your favorite podcast will be at the signing. And
thanks so much to Jetpack for the awesome shout out and letting us. We're actually going to be there recording interviews throughout the day. The event starts at 4. This is this Saturday, the 22nd at 4 p.m. So you can meet tons of Turtles creators. You can meet us. And if you can't make it to the event, you can see our interviews afterwards.
All right. Yeah. And just tell us about how awesome you think we are and how much you love the YouTube channel, because we know it's impossible to dislike it. And that is your first exposure to Jaximum Ego, if you haven't experienced it before.
Yeah, it looks like you're getting a lot of hellos in the comments.
Yeah, we got some friends. I see Jasper. I see Nate. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Finn here saying some things I wouldn't really want to share on the screen.
Yeah. So anyway, this is just really exciting event. We've got so many people here that I'm just excited to have see us live, which is awesome. And that now we sound like musicians, but anyway, you want to jump into like our first like real insane news topic?
Yeah, I finally got a comment. All right. Yeah, so recently some set photos were leaked and released from the latest installment to the Merc with a Mouth's movies, Deadpool 3. There's some interesting stuff in these photos with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool fighting and teaming up with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, though that's really just the tip of the iceberg as we get into like what the potential plot of the movie might be and what some of the other multiverse cameos we'll see are. So, want to pull up the photos?
Yeah, there's some really crazy set photos, and if you haven't seen it like on social media, then well, I don't know what rock you've been living under, because it's been everywhere like these last couple days.
Yeah, it's been the biggest topic in the nerd world.
Yeah, so without further ado, here are some photos of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine side by side with Ryan Reynolds or his stunt double in Deadpool 3.
All right.
And let's go to the full slideshow thing.
So here it is. Wolverine and Deadpool. I mean, we got to talk about this comic accurate costume.
I know. Like, okay, so Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Like, what do you think? This is the first time he's ever worn a yellow and blue comic accurate suit. First time we've ever seen any comic accuracy in Wolverine's costume in live action, because in the movies he's always worn like a dumb leather thing or like some kind of like just normal person clothes. But he's just so it's so awesome that Hugh's finally wearing like the yellow and blue suit. Now, what's your opinion on this outfit?
Yeah, I think it's totally comic accurate. Accurate. Reminds me a lot of the X-Men 92 Wolverine stuff, which I feel like they're probably going to be wanting to draw a lot from, despite Hugh Jackman's height and him not really having that craziness. But
yeah,
hey, it's still cool to see him returning in a more comic accurate form. Notice there's sleeves on his costume.
Yeah.
Bit different for Wolverine, but it actually reminds me of that Wolverine in the X-Men cartoon. I'm pretty sure it had sleeves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, maybe. If anybody knows, let us know in the comments. But yeah, I really think Hugh looks great here. And on the note of like what'd you do? Spoiler alert. But on the note of like the sleeves thing, I've seen people online suggest it's going to be an extremely violent R-rated movie. So who knows? Maybe like partway through it, the sleeves could get like slashed off or something.
Yeah, have blood on them.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, right. Like well, now what do you think about a cowl? Do you think we're going to see him in a cowl?
Oh, you mean the mask? I don't know. That might be a little too over the top.
Okay, I mean they might CGI it on with some of the fight scenes, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go this far and not go all the way. Like I think that'd be a bit of a letdown. But
and do we want to get into what potential universe this Wolverine might be from?
Right. Yeah, there's theories going around. I mean, this obviously isn't the same Wolverine from the main Fox timeline, because he, of course, died in Logan. May he forever rest in peace. That scene with the X on the tombstone. Oh, so awesome. But so this is obviously a different Logan from any kind we've seen before.
Yeah, and really the main theory circulating online is that this is from the universe 838 that we saw in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, you'll remember that's where Wanda took on the entire Illuminati. John Krasinski, Mr. Fantastic, is from that universe as a version of Patrick Stewart. I
mean, it's basically like halfway between the MCU and the 616 comics universe to me.
Right. And then there's elements from
a little off.
Then there's elements from past movie versions and like random fan castings too.
I mean, if there's a Fantastic Four as well as Avengers in this universe, there's very likely to be X-Men too. And you'll notice like
because don't they say Charles Xavier, the leader of the X-Men?
Yeah, and you notice this Wolverine is part of an X-Men team because he has the X right there on his belt. So.
Yeah, and I also really think this could be 838 Wolverine, considering like Professor X, like he was very accurate to X-Men 92 in his Doctor Strange appearance. Like he had the flying chair, they did the theme song and everything. So I think like because the X-Men of Earth 838 draw so much from X-Men 92, I think that would be very likely for Wolverine to be like that. And then maybe if we see, Famke Janssen as Jean Grey, or Scott Summers played by James Marsden, or Halle Berry as Storm, they'll be very comic accurate, very cartoon accurate, which is going to rock.
It would be awesome to see Cyclops in all the blue.
Yeah, so this next slide I have is every live action appearance of Hugh Jackman as Logan. So this is him, in every X-Men movie, all the way down to like his simple cameos and stuff like First Class and Apocalypse, to even like his titular features. Now, out of every appearance of Wolverine, like which do you think is your favorite look?
I gotta say this most recent one, and also Jasper here said he's really hoping that they put in the cowl because that really completes the costume. I mean,
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it looks a little incomplete. And then her mom says, I think they should arm wrestle Deadpool and Wolverine, not Jack and Artie.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I suck at arm wrestling, so that's probably a good idea. I would lose to you, Artie, and I would lose to either Deadpool or Wolverine because, come on, like, unless you're the Hulk, who wouldn't?
Yeah, I think gonna have to say Wolverine would probably win that arm wrestle. He could even just cut off Deadpool's arm, and he would have to have a little baby arm.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like on the note of like, I think it's the first like 14 or whatever, they all look like they're from the same franchise. The Deadpool 3 stands out like a sore thumb.
Sore thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I get typo. That. I mean,
so it's like that's definitely why I think it's a different timeline.
Not very colorful costumes. Some of them are no costumes, but like
some of them are just shirtless.
Yeah, they all just kind of blend together a little bit where like you got this bright yellow and blue costume. I think we're going to be seeing something really different here.
Yeah, for sure. Like, especially like considering like the fact Hugh Jackman was always like opposed to wearing the yellow and blue suit. I mean, they even joke about it in the Wolverine. Like there's one part where he opens a chest and there's like a comic accurate Wolverine suit in there. He's like, I'm not wearing that. And then
yeah, right.
In Logan, like the Laura character has comics of the X-Men where he's in the yellow and blue suit. He's like, I never wore that. So he's wearing it here, which
so
is
this is going to
awesome.
Be some alternate universe Wolverine then.
Yeah, likely 838.
Yeah,
but we're probably going to go to a complete different multiverses throughout this entire movie. So it's likely, it could be an entirely new Wolverine whatsoever. Maybe.
Yeah.
So there's, a bunch of rumors going around about cameos. Ben Affleck as Daredevil and Jennifer Gardner as Elektra are both supposed to appear. What's your opinion on that?
I don't see a point in it, honestly. That
no Daredevil, nostalgia for those movies whatsoever.
I haven't seen them, but they don't look the best. There's a lot of leather going on there, a lot of questionable stuff, and Ben Affleck supposedly kind of hates superhero movies too, so I don't see why he would return as Daredevil.
Right, but it's like, I mean, he could have been the perfect Daredevil, I really think, and a lot of what they're doing with this movie is like, quote unquote, redeeming the Fox universe. So maybe, I don't know.
I'd rather see Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. And then another point.
Me too.
Another point is you have Charlie Cox appearing everywhere as Daredevil. Why
right.
Throw in another one. It's like the Batman problem with the DCEU.
Oh my God. Like this year, there were like 3 Batmans running around the multiverse, and it's not any better because even Brave and the Bold, it's going to reboot Affleck and Keaton and whatever, but that Batman's still going to be around at the same time as Pattinson. They're still both going to have solo movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you don't want them to do that with Daredevil.
No, I don't think so. There's just other characters I'd rather see, like Wesley Snipes as Blade. Maybe even Howard the Duck would be interesting.
Yeah,
especially
certainly.
If like Deadpool can joke around about how horrible that movie was.
Well, what you could do with Elektra, because that's probably considered to be the second worst Marvel, or like third worst Marvel movie, probably.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But like I would much rather I'd be really excited to see Chris Evans come back as the Human Torch, because he's talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Because he said like Cap, he had his story wrapped up, but Johnny Storm, he was still in his prime time. So, I mean, see, the only thing that will really determine whether or not this movie is set in 838 is if there's a Fantastic Four in this movie and which Fantastic Four it is. Because we know there's an 838 Fantastic Four. That's what Krasinski's from. But like if it's the 2005 Tim Story Fantastic Four, I would not be opposed to that. Just please do better special effects on the Thing, please.
Yeah,
because he
definitely
he looks pretty bad in those movies. So
This next one,
slide is one that
cool.
like really, not the next one,
there's
but
just Ryan Reynolds.
what do you
Deadpool.
think of his new costume?
I don't notice a difference really.
Okay.
It looks a little bit more colorful. I'd say maybe to catch
MCU it up.
MCU it up, catch up to Wolverine. Also in the background right here, you see Sean Levy.
Yeah, the director.
Glad to see him directing this movie.
I know, like even before Hugh Jackman was announced to be in this movie, I was unbelievably stoked because Sean Levy, he's one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. Top 3
director
easily.
Of Free Guys, Stranger Things,
he's probably
The Adam Project,
Night at the Museum trilogy. Hugh Jackman was even in Night at the Museum 3. Remember?
Oh yeah, he had a cameo as himself.
So Sean Levy, he's just a fantastic director, and it's like, I mean, he's done a great number of projects with Ryan Reynolds. So I'm down for anything he does, especially a superhero movie.
What's that Ryan Reynolds has? Backpack or something? Is that part of the movie?
A satchel?
Or I don't know.
Well, wait, let's see. Is it in the? Yeah, it's part of his costume. I think it's what he's using to hold the katanas. Yeah.
All right, this next one's awesome.
Now here we have a toppled 20th Century Fox logo that it looks like Wolverine and Deadpool will be having a fight in front of.
Yeah, you can see actually Hugh Jackman's bright yellow costume.
Or it might be a stunt double.
Here. Yeah, or a stunt double, but it's really cool. Here's where the 2 is, the 20th Century Fox. So crazy.
So what do you think like the story logic for this is?
Well, I mean,
visual metaphor?
It's Deadpool. There's a lot of breaking the fourth wall, talking about Disney, talking about the studios, like how Fred Savage is talking about like 20th Century Fox Marvel isn't as good as Disney Marvel and stuff like that.
Like in Once Upon a Deadpool, of course.
Yeah, and so like I don't know, this might be they might visit, like they might go to the universe that you see at the beginning of every single 20th Century Fox movie where there's the lights pointing at this logo, and it might be ruined. It might be dead because it was owned by Disney now.
Right. Like
maybe
what if they have
like an apocalypse universe?
There's like a giant Mickey Mouse kaiju or something.
Yeah, where like Disney owns it with an iron fist or runs it,
Yeah, like I think that like there's a lot of jokes they could make in this movie about Disney buying everything, and it's like honestly, like I would not be opposed to it at all. So next we actually have a video that we want to share of Deadpool and Wolverine fighting.
Yeah, this was a pretty cool release from the set.
Yeah, so this is some set footage. This is from YouTube. I'm gonna share it right here. Yeah, so this was uploaded by the Atomic Fan. Huge shout out to the Atomic Fan.
And you'll see a cat insurance ad in the corner too.
Yeah. So all right, here's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in Deadpool 3. It's like they're having a little face off here. Wonder what they're saying. Can't be anything nice. Now here's some behind the scenes action. So I'm just like really excited. I can't wait to see what the context of this scene is, because it's so weird in like these early phases to just see these photos and try to interpret it. It's giving me Endgame flashbacks, honestly.
Oh yeah, when you saw Captain America with the watch and like.
So you're like, does that mean time travel? And it's like,
no,
that's
bogus.
Yeah.
Oh wow, see, you can see a little bit of them fighting. Deadpool's on the ground. Yeah, so this desert, what do you think this like desert that they're filming at for most of this stuff is? It's in Canada. So what do you think? Because that's where the 20th Century Fox logo. What do you think the significance of it is?
Some kind of like wasted barren universe? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
So that might.
Oh, we got Wolverine impaling Deadpool. Oh, this is going to be a very bloody scene. That'll all be in post, of course.
Yeah. Don't got
all
any ketchup packets.
Now we're getting to the action here. It's kind of crazy. Like the wires, like I think like the stunt choreographers for superhero movies do not get enough appreciation, because it's like
that's Hugh Jackman over there. There's the stunt double.
Yeah. Right. There's 2 Wolverines, or maybe it's just 2 Wolverines altogether. They're different variants. I don't know if that's
Ryan Reynolds or his stunt double.
Likely his stunt double, because he's doing flips.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. That is a crazy shot. I feel like their fight's going to be awesome.
I know, yeah. But it's like you don't really realize how much goes into the post with these fights for these movies till you see them like dancing around on those wires.
Yeah.
Man, that's an awesome flip. Like, I can't wait to see that. Like, I can't wait to see like the claws and the blood and everything. It's gonna be great. um, yeah. So, trying to see what else is there that really stands out. Okay, now we got Hugh training a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is an awesome shot.
This definitely isn't on camera because there's no like crew, no mics or anything around him.
Yeah, that's practicing his stunts.
Yeah, so imagining this against like some kind of enemy, like if it's a Deadpool or like, I don't know, just spitballing here, but like a Sentinel or something, that would be like awesome.
Maybe, yeah.
Throwing a grenade, awesome.
Wow. All right, so yeah, I think this might be some like 20th Century Fox Wasteland type universe. That'd be really
right.
cool to
and then
see.
maybe that's where Daredevil could pop up. I don't know.
Yeah,
because it's kind of like a wasteland of superhero movies. So maybe that's where you could put like all those forgotten
the
movies.
ones gone wrong. Yeah, you could have
2015
like
Fantastic Four.
You could have a ragtag team of like Howard the Duck, Daredevil, maybe even have Michael B. Jordan return as Human Torch.
Yeah. Just sort of I don't know. Really the sky's the limit here. And then there's also like the thing, are we going to see other Deadpool variants like Lady Deadpool, Dogpool, Deadpool Duck maybe, if they're going to have Howard?
There's a lot of stuff going around online about that. The really intense Deadpool fans might be excited to see that. I don't really know why they would do that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Just the ones that, Rob Liefeld has all the action figures for.
Oh yeah.
Like, I pirate Deadpool would be awesome, personally.
I mean, I think it would be cool to see Deadpool get the blue and yellow X-Men suit.
Right, yeah.
Film. I always thought that was awesome.
I'm trying to remember, does he have the gray X-Force suit in Deadpool 2?
When he gets hit with like the laser or something.
Okay, it like burns out all the color. Okay, yeah. Cool. I would love to see his X-Men suit, though.
I don't know if we'll be seeing an X-Force in this, but this is going to be more X-Men based. The last one was a little bit more X-Force based. So, like, maybe we will be seeing an X-Men suit in this.
Yeah, but the main theory for the plot here, and I love this theory, is like the TVA is going to be involved because there's reports of like a Deadpool TVA chase scene. And for those of you who don't remember, that's the TVA from Loki, the Time Variance Authority. So like, I think that's going to be really cool because the TVA probably hates the Fox universe because of all their time travel shenanigans. Like, Days of Future Past, they go and reset the timeline. Deadpool 2, he creates 2 new alternate timelines, one where X-Men Origins Wolverine never happened and one where Green Lantern never happened.
Yeah, so they might actually be seeing we might be seeing a universe where the TVA is just going full on massacre on all the Fox characters. Potentially
where Deadpool and Wolverine could be fighting, it could be something like how in Loki, he made it to like that area where everything like the TVA like decides it's just junk goes.
Yeah, where we saw the Thanos
where they prune everything. Yeah, like the Thanos copter and like Throg and
Do you think this could be that?
Yeah, I think this could be a place like that.
That could probably
because if they pruned the entire Fox universe, the toppled Fox logo would
make
be
sense.
there.
That would make more sense, I think, probably.
Yeah, and maybe that's where we'll see Benifer as Daredevil and Elektra. Maybe some Fantastic Four. I don't know. And like that's why, like, I don't know, maybe that's why they're fighting, because Hugh Jackman could be like, "You jerk, this is all your fault. You got our universe destroyed."
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But this kind of has like them first meeting type vibe to it. The way they're fighting, like, and in that video they released, they kind of talked about it a little bit, that when they first meet, they're gonna fight, and that looks like the fight that they were like miming out and stuff. So
right, yeah,
I don't know,
definitely. And then there's another theory if that Wanda Maximoff might be in this movie. Elizabeth Olsen has stated how much she wants to, jump into like the mutant story and like work with like those characters because she likes the X-Men movies and stuff. And if they're gonna go to Earth 838 here, then we might see some Scarlet Witch action. So there's a rumor.
I don't know. I don't want to. I feel like one whole multiverse movie focused around Scarlet Witch is probably enough.
Yeah, but
I don't know if another one would be.
Still, there's a theory. Maybe not here. Maybe later on, we might see a fight with Wanda and Jean Grey, which I think would be super duper cool.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know. Because they're both wicked powerful. And then if they go to 838, the Illuminati might pop up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's rumors that like Tom Cruise Iron Man that they all said was going to be
Superior Iron Man.
yeah, that was going to
cool.
be in Doctor Strange that they wanted in Doctor Strange but didn't show up. He might be like the last surviving member of the Illuminati and like really annoyed with Wanda or whatever.
Right.
So I don't know. We might see that here. We might see it later. We might see it never. But anyway, I'm all around like super duper excited for Deadpool 3. Like, I think this is going to be an awesome movie.
But
you know,
like, unfortunately, due to the Screenwriters Guild and the Screen Actors Guild strikes, have stopped this movie's production, along with the latest unoriginal ideas in current cinema, including Beetlejuice 2, Mission Impossible 8, Venom 3, Mortal Kombat 2, and I just found out about this horror, the live-action Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah. If, because Deadpool's owned by Disney now, if he could make some kind of complaint about them bringing all their animated movies to live action, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, but and then just in general, cinema in general, like listen to all, there's not a single non-sequel title. Beetlejuice 2, that's another remake that involves Michael Keaton. We've been seeing a little bit too much of those. Mission Impossible 8. I don't know if movies need to reach an 8 point, really.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Transformers 7, that's very, very original idea.
Venom 3, I mean, that's not too terrible because the Venom movies have gotten pretty awesome. But Mortal Kombat 2, this is the second time we'll be seeing a movie titled Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah,
because there's Mortal Kombat. Well, no,
it wasn't called. It wasn't called Mortal Kombat 2. It was just Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Okay, well, it's the second Mortal Kombat sequel.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. In a reboot.
So it's a sequel to a reboot. That's a little far. And then just live action Lilo and Stitch. Why does this need to be happening?
I mean, it's dumb enough they're making live action Moana. That's like a 7-year gap. But
yeah,
anyway,
but Lilo and Stitch is just a movie that works so good in animation. Why bring it to live action?
I know. Well, we're not here to talk about Moana. We're here to talk about superheroes. And jumping over to the DC universe, we got some stuff on Superman Legacy.
Yeah. So anticipation has definitely risen for James Gunn's Superman Legacy movie, kicking off the new rebooted DC cinematic universe in 2025. Not only were Superman and Lois Lane casted, but so were a few other exciting DC heroes that we weren't expecting to see in this movie.
Certainly. So, there's a lot I just really want to jump into with this movie. For those of you who don't know, James Gunn, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the Suicide Squad, Super, a few other things, he's rebooting the DC universe, starting with a new Superman movie. And I personally think it's going to be awesome. The casting looks really, really good. So let's just jump into, all the announced actors and what we think they're going to be like. So first up, we got David Corenswet as Superman, / Clark Kent, of course. He's a somewhat unknown actor. His biggest titles include Pearl, Look Both Ways, We Own the City, and The Politician. So I haven't really seen him in action much, but he looks like the perfect Superman. And you can't say that for a lot of people. Like, Superman's one of like the hardest roles to cast, honestly.
Yeah, and like you'll see photoshops of him on various Superman costumes. I photoshopped him onto Christopher Reeve for the thumbnail.
It looked right,
Yeah, it fit really well.
Like, unless you're Christopher Reeve or Henry Cavill, it's very hard to look good in a Superman costume. But I really think that David Corenswet is going to do it. He just really looks the part. He seems like he can act it from clips I've seen posted. I think he's going to be a great Superman, and this honestly has potential to be the greatest Superman movie, honestly.
Yeah.
So next up, we got Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Now, she was from The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which I haven't seen, but my parents tell me she's perfect in the role, and she totally looks the part too. So I'm really excited to see her in that role. And they were casting their Superman and Lois actors based on their chemistry. So
yeah,
this likely means she has really good chemistry with Corenswet, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, and I remember hearing that this wasn't the expected pairing for the two.
Right. There was one point where they thought Lois Lane was going to be Emma Mackey because David Corenswet auditioned with Emma Mackey, but James Gunn changed his mind, and so yeah, now it's David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan, which I think is super cool. So next up, So another thing I want to get into, James Gunn said that Superman is not the first hero in his universe.
Yeah.
So this is like a well-established DC universe. There's tons of heroes, like it's Justice League Unlimited or, you know, Injustice or something. So this is like an all-new DC universe with tons of heroes. So it's like a take to Superman we've never really seen before, because Donner, he was the only superhero in that universe. And Henry Cavill's Superman, it was like this whole big thing, like, what? Superheroes are real? Oh my gosh.
Right.
Like, you know, what does this mean? So casually, James Gunn has thrown more superheroes into the story, and someone was like, yo, James Gunn, I thought this was a movie about Superman. LOL, I'm such a smartass. And James Gunn's like, well, actually, you know, Clark has his life with Lois, Jimmy, Perry White, etc. Then Superman has his life with other super people.
Right.
So I think this is a really good idea. He's going to really focus on the duality of Superman and Clark and the supporting cast for both their lives, you know?
Right.
So
we've got Guy Gardner.
Yeah, one of those supporting characters is Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion. You know, so for those of you who don't know, Guy Gardner, he's a member of the Green Lantern Corps. So he has all the same powers as Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Kilowog, etc.
Yeah, he was really big in the 80s Justice League, like international type comics. He was in that lineup.
Yeah, with Booster Gold and Blue Beetle and stuff.
Yeah, he's really just known as like the most like jerk of the Green Lanterns, egotistical. Just really like
he has a big stupid bowl cut too.
Yeah, but I feel
which
like
James Gunn confirmed Nathan Fillion is going to have.
Okay, yeah. So he was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He played the guard in the security guard in the High Evolutionary database place.
Yeah. I mean, his most popular role is the captain from Firefly and Serenity, Captain Reynolds.
Okay.
Which I haven't really seen, but I kind of want to get into.
Yeah, well, we've seen the movie. But anyways, him as that character in Guardians of the Galaxy makes me think that he's going to be really good as Guy Gardner. Very similar, like, personality and stuff between those two roles. So I'm really excited to see this.
And considering James Gunn's history with him, like, you'll also remember he was the detachable kid in the Suicide Squad. Like this, like, I don't know. Gonna be honest with you, there's a lot of DC characters I'd love to see James Gunn's take on, but there was no one I'd rather see more than Guy Gardner. He just seems like such a perfect James Gunn character. So I really love that he's going to be included in this movie.
In similar leagues as Guy Gardner, I'm also really excited to see James Gunn's take on Booster Gold.
Booster Gold, certainly. I think Booster Gold is probably one of the top 3 best characters in the entire DC universe. So I'm excited to see him. Next up, we of course have oh wait, what's this guy's name? Eddie Gattegi, or I'm probably butchering his name, as Mr. Terrific. Now, this actor's mostly been in TV shows like The Startup and For All Mankind, but in terms of superhero movies, you actually remember he was in X-Men First Class. Yeah, he was like that guy whose superpower was he could adapt to any scenario. And it was like he was bragging about it. He's like, what I always say is adapt to survive. And then he like died in his first scene. But you know, he's Mr. Terrific now, which is awesome.
Yeah,
good for that
that's
guy.
Really cool. Mr. Terrific is a pretty cool character. Awesome to see him in the movies finally.
Right.
Someone they would like never put in the DCEU, but since it's like James Gunn universe, he's making it so much more based around the comics, and Mr. Terrific's pretty big, cool character in the comics. So it's cool that we're going to be seeing him.
Yeah, and in the comics, Mr. Terrific, you know, he was like a super genius who was also an Olympic athlete. So he's like really smart and has all kinds of gadgets and stuff, but he's also like a really good fighter. So he's basically like Batman and Reed Richards rolled into one. So he's an awesome character. And you'll remember he was actually in Arrow for like 4 seasons, and he was in the Arrow DLC pack for Lego DC Supervillains, and he was my second favorite character in that entire game.
Oh wow!
So you know, I didn't
know Mr. Terrific was in Arrow.
Every random character was in the Arrowverse at some point. Yeah, but he's
probably done terribly, but we're gonna finally see him done justice in this.
I mean, I haven't seen Arrow, so I don't know if I'm qualified for that. But
I can just assume though.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this character. I think Mr. Terrific's incredibly underrated. And he's such a super cool. Like he's got a big T on his face, which is just gonna look awesome.
Yeah, and the jacket's awesome too.
Right, and you know, Eddie really looks the part too. like I think he could really like pull off
I
a
can
comic
imagine him in
accurate
the jacket and
Mr.
everything.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Next we got Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl. She was the live action Dora the Explorer in Dora and the Lost City of Gold. So very few people can put that in like their IMDb page. I was Dora the Explorer. I was also Hawk Girl. And she was also in Transformers The Last Night. So she's been in some blockbusters. And for those of you who don't know, in the comics, Hawk Girl is a woman from the planet Thanagar, which is a planet out in space where everybody has big wings on their back and they can fly around, because the wings aren't just for decoration, and she's super strong and stuff. And she also has a mace.
Do you think we'll be seeing her in the lineup of the Justice League in this universe?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, see, I'll get to my theory on that later. But so anyway, I'm really hoping, because they have Hawk Girl in this universe, I really think that when they do the Flash, I'm really hoping that it's Wally West instead of Barry Allen, because in the DCAU,
I think that'd be a good call.
In the DCAU, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited shows, he had like the best chemistry with Hawk Girl. Like, it was awesome and so funny. And so if they don't play into that in the movies, it would definitely kind of be a letdown. And there's been 2 live action Barrys. Just live action Wally would be cool.
I don't think they're gonna want to keep around Ezra Miller if they keep doing all the
controversial stuff.
Controversial stuff. Yeah.
But I'm really excited for Hawk Girl to be in this movie. She's just kind of a core member of the Justice League in various iterations. And honestly, like, this probably means the Hawkman from the Black Adam movie isn't canon, because he's just a billionaire in a super suit. And if they're going to make her from space, then they can't coexist, I don't think. Next, we have Anthony Carrigan as Metamorpho. He's best known for the TV show Barry, and he was also the robot Dennis Caleb McCoy in Bill and Ted 3, which was awesome.
He was hilarious in Bill and Ted, and I think he's going to be really awesome as Metamorpho. Metamorpho is such a cool character. I don't really know anything about him, but like, his design's really awesome.
And so colorful too.
Yeah, I think he's going to be awesome. Awesome to see James Gunn's take on him.
I know, like, his powers are that he can transform his body into any element. At first it was limited to just elements found in the human body. Now it's like, it's just whatever at this point, just so they can do really cool stuff. And, he's one of like the weirdest, most far out, just most like campy designs of like Silver Age DC. And you'll actually remember, in like the DC, like, newspaper comics thing that they did like 10 years ago, I'm pretty sure it's Neil Gaiman and Mike Allred, our good friend Mike Allred, that have a Metamorpho series in there. That's pretty cool. So I definitely think Anthony really looks the part for sure. I like him in Bill and Ted 3. And this is just a character that I think James Gunn is really going to do amazing things with. So I'm excited to see Metamorpho in this movie. And it also brings me to my next comment. Oh, you're fast forwarding again. Spoiler alert. So this is reminding me, like, Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific are actually one half of a team known as the Terrifics, which is essentially DC's answer to the Fantastic Four.
And we got a comment from Uncle Russ. These guys know everything. Major geekery. Thanks a ton, Uncle Russ. We're gonna have to get the battles going soon.
Yeah, certainly. And then there's also like, so the Terrifics is like a whole team in the comics. So the fact that we're having half of the Terrifics in this movie probably eventually means we might see a Terrifics movie with Plastic Man and Terra, which I think would be really cool in live action.
Yeah.
And so what I think is going to happen is Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Superman are all going to factor into like the future Justice League, while Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific will factor into the Terrifics.
Yeah.
So I really think this is going to be awesome. Especially like, this is really bringing me back, because I'm remembering that like when I was like way younger, like, like 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. We had like this character encyclopedia for the DC universe. And like, I would just like always just flip through it for just hours on end and just read about these obscure characters. And then I might see them in Batman Brave and the Bold, or like read them in like the Tiny Titans comics, or, and then get an Imaginext figure of them. So I always liked having that experience with those obscure characters. And the fact that we're going to see so many of them in live action is just crazy to me.
It's going to be
and
really
like
cool.
The fact, like, newer, younger fans might be able to have this experience, but with, live action movies, which is way bigger deal than cartoons.
Yeah, definitely.
Not discrediting cartoons at all, but just saying the live action stuff's awesome. Oh, hi, Connor. Glad you're enjoying the live stream. But I'm really super duper excited for James Gunn's take on the DC universe and how many BCD list characters he's including there. Cause we would have never seen like Mr. Terrific or Metamorpho in the it was not
cool either.
Not very forward moving universe.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a really great series or really great movie. I'm super pumped for this franchise. And honestly, I cannot wait to see what James Gunn is going to do with Superman. Like, I think this is going to be the best Superman movie, and it might even be the greatest comic book movie of all time,
right?
Considering how good of a director James Gunn is and how great of a character Superman is.
Yeah, all right. So let's get on to our next topic. There was actually just a new trailer for the Disney Plus Star Wars series Ahsoka, featuring the returns of the Star Wars Rebels characters as well as Grand Admiral Thrawn looking questionable in live action. First, we're gonna play the trailer and do a sort of commentary breakdown.
Like a start-stop type thing. Like
then we're gonna get more into our thoughts and hopefully get some comments in the chat.
Yeah, certainly. So if you guys have any comments you want to make on the Ahsoka theories, Rebels parallels, just comments on different appearances, go for it. But just warning you, we're going to be starting and stopping a lot. So if you're like annoyed by that and haven't seen the actual trailer yet, just cautioning.
Bear with us.
Yeah. Bear with us as we willingly do this. So gonna share my screen here. We're going on to YouTube. The Disney Plus official trailer. So here is the upcoming trailer for Ahsoka, a Star Wars series coming to Disney Plus August 23rd.
War is inevitable. One must destroy.
All right, we got Alien Skull and Shin Hati.
We are no Jedi.
All right.
So that line, we got to talk about that.
Yeah. So if you've seen Rebels, you'll remember at the end of season 2, when Ahsoka Tano has this awesome fight with Darth Vader, she tells him how she's gonna avenge the death of Anakin Skywalker, and he says, "Revenge is not the Jedi way, Ahsoka." And she says, "I'm no Jedi," and takes out her lightsabers, and they engage in the most awesome fight ever.
Yeah, it's kind of become a line iconic to the character.
Right, probably the best Ahsoka quote, and arguably the best Rebels quote, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, so what do you think this means, Balin saying this?
Well, they're definitely no Jedi, considering they have orange lightsabers.
Right.
But I also don't think they're Sith either. So what do you think the deal with these characters is? Like, they're definitely not Jedi, they're definitely not Sith. I think like the popular rumor going around, we know he's an Order 66 survivor, but the theory is like he's some kind of bounty hunter mercenary Jedi.
Yeah, maybe they might be something closer to the Knights of Ren direction, possibly.
Yeah, like Darksiders who aren't Sith. Okay, I mean,
maybe.
Considering their lightsabers are orange, I'm thinking they're like the middle of the spectrum. Gray Jedi, like Galen Merrick or Darth Revan from the Old Republic. Like a gray Jedi, they actually made their lightsaber to be in the middle of the spectrum.
They might possibly be like anti-hero Jedi, like.
Or, well, I think more like heroic villain, because anti-hero Jedi would be purple like Mace Windu.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm thinking like more not dark Jedi, but light Sith is what I'm thinking.
Okay. Full music.
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
All right.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Okay, so here we have Elsbeth, who's this character from Mandalorian season 2. You'll remember she's the lady who had that Beskar spear that Ahsoka had that fight with, and that eventually became Din Djarin's spear. And she was the one, like, Ahsoka held the lightsabers to her neck and like, "Where's your master? Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn?" So Shin Hati's line back there means, Balin and Shin are probably going to help Elsbeth locate Thrawn. So why do you think Balin and Shin are helping Thrawn? Do you think he's like paying them? Do you think he's promised them something?
Well, I don't know. Maybe Maybe they're all in on something. Maybe they're all after Ahsoka, possibly.
Okay, so you think Balin might have a personal vendetta?
Yeah, or Balin just might be a hired mercenary, possibly.
Okay. Like I essentially think like he's basically their like if this is Heir to the Empire, like the Legends novels, he's pretty much their stand-in Jerua Sabayoth.
I mean, there was a line about the heir to the Empire somewhere in here.
Yeah, Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire. Like,
yeah.
EU
so
fans.
Definitely reference to the novels.
Yeah. If you've dived into the EU like I have, at least read the Thrawn books, then you'll get a solid idea on where this series is going.
Yep.
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
Some kind of star chart opening up. Is that how they're going to find Thrawn? They're going to find Ezra?
Looks pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
I spent most of my life fighting a war.
We have Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera Syndulla.
This is the Phantom, correct?
Yeah, the Phantom from Star Wars Rebels. Now Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's actually Ewan McGregor's wife. Fun fact.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and she looks very accurate to her animated counterpart. So I'm really excited to see her in the series, and especially considering how much her character's grown since Rebels, because she said she spent most of her life fighting the Empire.
The space battle looks epic. Though.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. The Phantom looks great too.
That's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one.
You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him. Just like
okay, so this is a reference to how in Clone Wars, Ahsoka left the Jedi Order after she was accused of bombing the Jedi Temple. Really great arc. That's why she tells Darth Vader that she's no Jedi, because she officially left the Order. It's kind of like some people are like, oh, it was Dave Filoni's excuse to make her survive Order 66 because he's too attached to the character. Yeah, but it's an awesome storyline. So who cares?
And then also,
like I walked away from Sabine.
Rather interesting. It's saying that Ahsoka was training Sabine for something, almost as if she was Force sensitive.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna get more into that in this next line.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
All right, what's your take on that? Does Sabine have the Force? Because like in Rebels, I remember back when I was in 3rd grade, it was something like me and my kind of friend. Well, he was really annoying, but we would talk about it a lot. Is it like, does Sabine have the Force? Is Ezra and Kanan going to train Sabine in the Force? Because it's like, she had the dark saber. So when you're 9, you're just like, oh, you have a lightsaber, you must be a Jedi or whatever. But Kanan kind of
much mature. It's so much more mature now.
Yeah. Starting and stopping the Star Wars trailer. Yeah, not much better, but Kanan kind of made it very clear that Sabine didn't have the Force in the Trials of the Darksaber episode, because he said like she was closed-minded to it or whatever.
Coming up here that supports the point a little bit more.
As a Jedi, sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can. But I'm counting on you to see this through.
Okay, so why is Ezra giving Sabine Jedi advice if she's not a Jedi?
Right. And I mean, it's been 10 years since Rebels, so it's not an impossibility that she's not Force sensitive. And then there's a pretty big,
new helmet.
So I'm definitely open-minded to whatever. But let's talk about Ezra. What do you think? Like, this is the first time we've actually seen Iman Esfandi drop some lines as Ezra Bridger.
He sounds like exactly the same. It's crazy.
I know. Like, Ezra Bridger, he's my favorite Star Wars character. He's my second favorite fictional character of all time. I was skeptical.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, just below Wreck-It Ralph. So I was honestly skeptical on how like Iman Esfandi was going to handle it, but it's like he sounds just like Taylor Gray did in the role. I feel like he's going to perfectly capture the likeness, and I can't wait to see him and Sabine reunite, because that's going to be awesome. And then there's actually a pretty big Rebels parallel going on here, but I'll actually get to that later because I have a bunch of slides on Rebels parallels.
Nice haircut. Sometimes we have to do what's right.
So some kind of pirates she was fighting there.
I don't know. Looks like.
And then there's that Inquisitor,
the
of course.
mystery Inquisitor, yeah.
Now, like, who do you think this Inquisitor is? Because there's some crazy theories going around. Like, there's some people suggesting it's a Legends character brought into canon, like maybe Mara Jade, maybe Starkiller. But then there's also people like, what if it's someone from Ahsoka's past, like Ezra Bridger even, or Barriss Offee, who for those of you who don't know, was the person that got Ahsoka kicked out of the Jedi Order.
I mean, I gotta say the helmet looks very similar to Starkiller, but
Right.
I don't think it would be Starkiller.
Yeah.
If they were to introduce Starkiller, I don't know if a Ahsoka series would be the best place to do so.
I mean, they would have an interesting dynamic because Ahsoka was Anakin's apprentice, Starkiller was Vader's apprentice.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen fan fictions get into the ideas. A lot of it's really cringy. I'm just gonna let your imaginations fill in the blanks there. But and then Mara Jade, maybe, like, if Dave Filoni wants to go full on Heir to the Empire, full on extended universe here, like, maybe bring her into canon, but I don't really know if
Luke
you can have her.
Skywalker's wife, though.
I don't know if that'll really work with the sequels because there's certain limitations set, but I don't know. That might be why Luke's so depressed in the sequels, because maybe when Kylo Ren went AWOL, he killed Mara Jade. So
possibly.
I don't know. I think it could be a pretty crazy thing to work in between movies like that. It's not unheard of.
Who do you think is most likely?
I honestly don't think it's a male character because some people at Celebration who claim to see the longer trailer said the Inquisitor has a few lines and it's a female character.
Okay.
So that eliminates Ezra and Starkiller. I think it's going to be Barriss because, well, we don't know what the heck happened to her after the Wrong Jedi arc. Like, she never popped up as an Inquisitor. We don't know if she died during Order 66. So, I mean, and if she's going to pop up anywhere, it's going to be in an Ahsoka series because that's a lot of character development for Ahsoka to undergo because she was best friends with Barriss and she never really overcame that betrayal. So I think this will be a good spot to do it. So
sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings.
Direct homage to Rebels. You'll remember,
mural.
She made that mural after Ezra disappeared, and the final shot of Rebels was her and Ahsoka going off on a search for Ezra, which is what this.
Buckle up.
That's perfect. For those of you who don't know,
a Purgle? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's like the giant whale thing that they were about to fly into. Yeah, yes. Here.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
So for those of you who don't know, Purgle are giant space whales who can jump to hyperspace, and they were what inspired the people in the Star Wars universe to invent hyperdrives in the first place. So last time we saw Ezra and Thrawn, they were transported into the unknown regions by an army of Purgle. Yeah, Dave Filoni went super weird and did a bunch of space whales coming in and saving the day. But it was freaking awesome. I'll say that.
Yeah, they're cool creatures for sure.
Yeah, definitely some of my favorites in the Star Wars universe.
Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain.
Okay, here's the Thrawn reveal.
Yeah, he looks okay.
He looks kind of like somebody. Here, let's show who we think he kind of looks like. I mean, anyone else thinking is a little familiar to you? Anyone coming to mind for him?
Yeah. We're gonna give a second here to load up the Google slide that we were thinking of. Wrong slide.
He looks like Elon Musk.
Yeah. Kind of like Ethron. I've called him up. I've been referring to him as Ethron. Of course, he's played by Lars Mikkelsen, who is the same actor who played him in Looks Like Blue Data.
Uncle Russ says looks like Blue Data. Yeah, kind of.
And so he looks a lot like Elon Musk, and it's kind of weird.
Weird.
I mean, we know Lars Mikkelsen definitely has the acting chops to pull off Thrawn because he did a great job as Thrawn in the animated series, but
right.
I mean, this is kind of a letdown here. Another point on why Inquisitors kind of stink. But like from what I've heard, I wasn't alive, so I don't know, but I kind of get the gist of it. Like back in 1991, when Timothy Zahn released the Thrawn trilogy novels, it was like there hadn't been Star Wars anything for 8 years. And then all of a sudden there's these 3 new books, and there's this character that lives up to Darth Vader in the Empire and the Emperor. He's like an awesome strategist. He's pretty much like space Napoleon. And it's insane because like he was awesome in Rebels. So there's like 32 years in build up for this. And he doesn't look that great. But
yeah, it's probably just the makeup gone wrong or something. It's really weird.
I mean, they've never been good at makeup for these Disney Plus shows, because it's like Hera looks all right. I mean, Grand Inquisitor, he was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But like, no matter what they do, it'll always be better than Rupert Friend as the Grand Inquisitor.
Connor says he believes that ship was the Phantom 2.
Phantom 2, that's right. Phantom 1 was lost in the season 3 premiere.
He also thinks that Sabine doesn't have the Force. What makes you think that?
Yeah, let us know in the comments,
Yeah.
Connor.
Willing to hear.
But yeah, so I mean, Thrawn looks okay. Definitely kind of a letdown for sure. But let's get back to the Ahsoka trailer.
You have no power.
Oh, you sure Sabine doesn't have the Force? I think there she is
Yeah,
holding
with
up
the
against
green lightsaber.
There she is holding up against a Force sensitive character.
Well, let us know, Connor.
Yeah, either she's. I mean, it's
Bro.
not impossible for non-Force sensitives to hold
like-
their own against Force sensitives.
I mean, Finn, even before he was the character, really before he was even Force
Hinted at being a
sensitive,
Jedi,
yeah,
he held his own against Kylo Ren.
I mean, but this doesn't really
Pre-Vizsla,
look like,
of
it doesn't
course.
look like the swinging around that Finn was doing.
Right. Well,
This
she's
looks
actually
more
been trained
That's true.
because she was trained by Ezra and Kanan, and she was even trained in sword combat prior to that. She's a
And
freaking Mandalorian.
Ahsoka was her master, taught her some things, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's either just really good training or Force sensitive.
Yeah. So
Depends.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
Baylan Skoll knew Anakin Skywalker.
This is really interesting. So his character apparently goes way back.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense because like at this point in the timeline, like Ray Stevenson was like 56 when they shot this. He unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, really sad.
Yeah. Really untimely passing. But so he'd be around the same age Anakin would be at this point in the timeline because it's like 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So he's like
Yeah.
the same age Anakin was. So this means he was a Jedi during the Clone Wars if he like indirectly knew Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So like who was this person, the Anakin, that Anakin would have like spoke highly of his Padawan to? Were they like best buds or
Right.
because in canon we've
Interesting.
seen very little of Anakin actually as a Padawan. We haven't really seen who his like peers were, So like maybe like perhaps Baylan was to Anakin as Barriss was to Ahsoka. Maybe they were like just Jedi bros or something.
Possibly.
I don't know. So there's definitely like personal rivalry here. And you'll see that here they're fighting in like that star chart thing. They were hanging out with Elsbeth.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
Explosion.
We have a lot of work to do.
Okay.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
So that was for those of you who don't know, that droid was Hu Yang. He's the guy who helps the younglings build their lightsaber crystals. He was introduced in the Clone Wars. Super cool character. Once a rebel, always a rebel. Totally a Harrison Dula line. Like I don't know if any other Star Wars character would ever say that. Inquisitor lightsaber.
So is this the Mystery Inquisitor?
Yes. Every Inquisitor has the same fight strategy. It's like, I'm just going to spin around really fast and look intimidating, and there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. And
Yep.
then, like, I don't know, cases like Kanan, they'll just stick their lightsabers in between the hilts and just kill them. And it's always really funny because they take themselves so much more seriously than the Jedi take them. It's like, who would take an Inquisitor seriously? Like, come on, especially 9 years after, like, Maul literally wasted 3 of them in the Rebels season 2 finale.
Yeah, but
but
it's weird how much this helmet looks like Starkiller.
yeah, I'm
Like
really
maybe the character got it from Starkiller or something. Maybe
Oh, I
that'll
don't
be a
know.
loose end they'll tie up.
I don't know.
later.
I mean, Starkiller almost appeared in Rebels. Like he was, he was like Sam Witwer before they were going to have him come back as Darth Maul. They almost had him play Starkiller as an Inquisitor in Rebels season 2. Which could have been cool. But yeah, I want to see him canonized. He's one of my favorite Legends characters. If I was an Inquisitor, I will not take on Ahsoka. There's like two of them. There was the guy from Tales of the Jedi she beat without a lightsaber. There was the sixth brother she beat without a lightsaber.
I'd be most afraid of Vader if I were an
Right.
Inquisitor.
Vader has killed more Inquisitors than actual Jedi have.
Yep.
Which I think is a little funny. But Artie, what do you think of the Ahsoka trailer?
I actually think it looks pretty good. It looks a lot better to me than the last trailer was, but this Mandoverse stuff, even the Obi-Wan TV series hasn't been that great lately. Mando season 3 wasn't good at all. Obi-Wan wasn't too good, so I'm not sure how.
I didn't get more than an episode into Andor. I mean, I love Star Wars. Bad Batch season 3 was great, or season 2 was great. But aside from that, like the last good Star Wars content, genuinely good, was Mando season 2. But
yeah,
honestly, huge Star Wars Rebels fan. Honestly, like Rebels is my favorite Star Wars content, period. I'm not saying it's better than the original trilogy. I'm just saying it's my favorite.
Right.
So I'm really excited to see all of these Rebels characters come back. And I was skeptical about live action because the voice actors are very definitive to a lot of those characters, but they look so accurate to the show here and they sound just like their animated counterparts. So I think it's going to be really great. Dave Filoni, I mean, I'm down with anything that guy does in the Star Wars universe. He learns directly from George Lucas and he just knows what Star Wars fans want to see.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
He's a very relatable director. And I honestly think his Star Wars movie is going to be great. Because for those of you who don't know, he's doing a big Mandoverse climax movie, which is going to be like Star Wars Endgame. So I really think that's going to rule. Can't wait to see Ezra back, of course. He's my favorite character ever, and I think he's going to come home. So the next thing I want to talk about, there's some obvious Rebels parallel shots in this trailer, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Only hardcore Rebels fans like myself will recognize it instantly. So from Google Slides, let's get away from Ethron. Okay, so this is the first Rebels parallel. This is Sabine cutting her hair in the Ahsoka trailer, as she's staring at that helmet right before, Ahsoka tells her nice haircut. It's an obvious parallel to Kanan cutting his hair in season 4, episode 10. And if you haven't seen Rebels, this is going to be a massive spoiler. If you haven't seen it all the way through and playing on it, I'd mute it for a few seconds. But in season 4, episode 10, Jedi Knight, the episode where Kanan dies, the last thing he does before he goes off to save Hera Syndulla is he cuts his hair. So he looks more like his true self. He looks more like Caleb Doom. And essentially, that's what Sabine's doing here. She's getting rid of the long hair to look more like the animated version. So do you think Sabine's going to die?
Possibly. I mean, yeah, either her or Ahsoka might die in the series, but probably not Ahsoka for the
Dave Filoni has had
Mandoverse.
2 chances to kill Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think he's ever going to kill Ahsoka. But like, I really think it could make sense for Sabine to die. If anybody's going to die in this show, it's going to be Sabine because, well, I mean, if Mandalore's retaken, the Empire's overthrown, and if she brings Ezra home, then her character will be fully fulfilled and she'd have no problem dying.
Yeah.
And I think Dave Filoni will really feel like her arc is completed. So I really think the character is going to die. So yeah, that's going to suck, but whatever. And then we got this
going
parallel.
back to Ethron. All right.
Now we have Ahsoka fighting the Inquisitor. You'll notice they're in the same stances that Ahsoka made while she was fighting Darth Vader.
So is this Inquisitor linked to Vader, possibly?
Yeah. I mean, do you think this is every Inquisitor's immediately linked to Vader.
Yeah, I mean, but like linked to Anakin, Ahsoka, more personal, that's
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because Ahsoka fighting Vader is Ahsoka fighting somebody from her past who's taken on a new identity.
Mm-hmm.
That's really why I think this Inquisitor, if it's not Ezra, it's definitely Barriss. Like,
okay,
Barriss is definitely the most likely, suspect for who's behind that Inquisitor mask.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what my theory is there. And that's the end of the slideshow.
Okay.
So yeah.
See,
now,
can we get any more comments?
Yeah. Now, who do you guys think the Inquisitor is? Like, do you guys have any theories? Because there's like so much potential here. I mean, there's some people like, what if it's an original character? But then you got to remember, it's a Dave Filoni show. Like every kind of character like this is going to be some kind of return or callback or whatever. Just saying that's kind of how he rolls. But I'm really excited for this show overall because I'm a massive Rebels fan, but I know you're not the biggest fan of Rebels. But what's your neutral take on this trailer?
I think it looks all right. It looks pretty epic. The music and everything is really cool. I hope the score to the series is like that. I'll definitely give it a try, but if I don't know if it gets to be anything like Mandalorian season 3, I'm not in.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I definitely think this is too important of a story to Dave Filoni for him to like, I don't know, slack off at all,
Yeah, maybe.
So, I mean, it'll be good, but just my real concern with the series is like, I've seen all of Rebels and all of Clone Wars, so I certainly know what I'm looking at with this trailer. But a lot of people watching this probably will not have seen a minute of animated Star Wars. So do you think this will be a show the casual Star Wars fan can enjoy? Or do you think it's going to be really a lot of pressure for somebody to get into that hasn't seen the series? Because there's 15 years of history with that Ahsoka character. And there's just a lot that could be overwhelming for a casual fan, So do you think it'll be just a good original self-contained story, or do you think you're going to need to see Rebels and Clone Wars first?
I think there's going to be a lot of ties to Rebels and Clone Wars. If the Inquisitor reveal is like Barriss, what you said, then you're going to have to know the whole thing about Ahsoka getting kicked out of the Order. All the Rebels characters, they're obviously going to have huge emotional points in the story, and that's not going to really mean anything, I think. If you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like they're relying on these cartoons a little bit too much.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like, you think like they might even like recreate scenes from Rebels and Clone Wars as flashbacks, like with younger actors to like sort of catch up to speed the casual audience? Because I mean, and it's been 10 years since Rebels, so Dave Filoni this could be a new story. I think. I mean,
yeah.
You can still enjoy Rebels without seeing Clone Wars, and there's a lot of constant characters between the two shows. So maybe
I don't know.
So whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be awesome. We'll definitely provide updates on this as it gets closer.
Yeah, you'll probably handle this in a lot of solo videos on the channel.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to like join me to talk about Inquisitors every week,
maybe. Or just talk about it on live streams like this.
Yeah, certainly. This is a lot of fun.
So let's talk about what's coming next in the channel a little bit before we wrap up.
Yeah, certainly. So do you want to talk about another public appearance we got coming up aside from the jetpack thing?
So we've got the jetpack thing this weekend, Saturday, starting at 4, Ninja Turtle signing. Make sure to come to that. It's going to be awesome. We'll be there recording interviews, selling merch, talking to some awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles creators. And then also, August 19th, Fitchburg, Massachusetts, we will be attending Plastic City Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's organized by our good friend Keith Gleason,
creator of the Mighty Mascots.
Yeah, he also hosts the fantastic YouTube channel Indie Comics Relay.
Yeah.
Check him out once you're done with this if you plan on sticking around on the tubes for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
But he always puts on a great show. Like you said, his goal with Comic Cons is to do like what Comic Cons were like 30 years ago. So no like big celebrity guests and like limited cosplay, but it's mostly just you go, there's local creators, and there's just like back issues as far as the eye can see. And well, not like ow my back issues, but I mean like comics like in long boxes,
back issues
like what's behind us. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Good call, bro. And so I think it's it's just one of the best Comic Cons in the area all around. So if you're in New Hampshire, like on August 19th, it's August 19th, right?
Yes, August 19th. Fitchburg.
Definitely go to
Fitchburg,
Plastic City,
Massachusetts. So I think it's
a new venue.
It was like an hour west or east or something from Boston. So that kind of area.
Yeah, it's
so if you're in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, possibly even Maine, definitely make sure to come to the show. It's an awesome show. We'll be there with our dad, Ryan L. Higgins, selling his Laser Brain comics. So that's going to be really cool too. If you haven't checked that out, definitely snag a copy there. They're only $5. Anthology with a ton of awesome stories in it. So
faux show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll be We'll be there too. I don't know if we'll be recording or not, but if
I'm
you
not
want to
sure.
meet us and tell us, what a good job we're doing with this YouTube channel and how our live streams are so great. Like,
Yeah, you could also pick up some merch too. We got our t-shirts that we're going to be selling. Also these sticker sheets, which you saw at the beginning.
yeah, all the classic Geek Gossip stuff. So it's just going to be an awesome con, and I cannot wait to attend it. I always, Plastic City Comic Con is just a great show. Definitely check it out if you're in the area. So all around, I'd say this is gonna have to conclude the first awesome Geek Gossip live stream.
I mean, also coming on the channel soon, so we're gonna try to get this as a regular thing, maybe like bi-weekly. Every other
bi-weekly.
Wednesday.
So
we'll probably just stick to this Wednesdays at 8 thing because it works pretty well. Also,
certainly.
Coming soon on the channel, we've got some more solo videos. Also, if you missed it, there was our Daniel Warren Johnson interview a couple days ago, creator of a ton of awesome comics. He's really just a comic superstar. He did Murder Falcon, Do a Powerbomb, his own ideas, a ton more. And then he's also doing Transformers soon. So definitely check out that amazing video interview.
Totally. Daniel's a great guy. Fantastic interview. Like, I don't think it's insane that that's our first video interview. It's that good.
Yeah, I'm currently polishing up and getting ready to send out my first solo video, top 10 greatest heavy metal bands.
Yeah, Artie's been putting a lot of work into that. So definitely,
there's gonna be a
you're a
lot in
metalhead, check that out.
Yeah, there's a lot in that, so that's gonna be a lot of fun to put out. Do you have anything that you'll be putting out soon?
Yeah, I'm actually working on a Star Wars video. If you guys like that Ahsoka segment, I'm making a video on whether or not too many Jedi survived Order 66, because of course, it's a fairly new, relevant topic considering Balin was just revealed to be an Order 66 survivor.
Yeah.
That Inquisitor was likely an Order 66 survivor, especially if it was, like Barriss or somebody. So, and then I'm also going to be talking about like Jedi Survivor and stuff in that video, because it's a controversy going around in the Star Wars fan base. Maybe too many Jedi survived Order 66 because there's a lot in Disney canon, but I'll sort of be making an argument on my position on that debate.
And that video was voted on too.
Yeah. So I'll see you later, Uncle Russ. Thanks for watching. And then there's then also on our Instagram, we're also putting up polls for what our solo video should be.
That video was voted on. So was my heavy metal one. So on our Instagram, occasionally on our YouTube community page too, in our stories and whatnot, we'll be posting up polls. So we'll each submit 2 options for our solo videos, and you guys actually get to vote on what you'd want to see. So I'm actually, once I get my video out, which is going to be very soon, I'm going to put up another poll because I want to get another shorter one out really fast.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. So if there's something like you're not interested in or don't think you'd watch, then vote the heck out of the other one. Because, the idea there was we just want to know what the people are interested in. And by the people, we mean you people, because you people are our target audience and you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching this video. And we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram. Our handle is the Geek Gossip _podcast, as well as Twitter, the Geek Gossip P1, which we're streaming from, and Facebook, which we're also streaming from the Geek Gossip podcast page.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see you later. Take care. Hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely check out our website, thegeekgossip.com. And be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and mash that notification bell if you want to know about new live streams.
3 great videos on there, soon to be 4 very soon. But yeah, so we've got some great stuff coming up. Check it all out. We love all the support we can get. And we're going to try to do another one of these live streams soon because this went great. This was a ton of fun. Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And remember, till next time, the Force will be with you. Always. Try to point at the camera there. Here, one more time. Always. Yeah, there's the camera. All right. Ending broadcast. See y'all.